We didn't get an announcement this week, and we didn't think we would. Board of Governors meeting was yesterday, a lot of discussions. Not a lot coming out of that, although the bubble that we had for the playoffs this past summer and fall, it was expensive, cost the NHL a lot of money. And so the National Hockey League is looking at this situation and saying, okay, we want to come back. We want to have it where everybody's playing in their home rinks. And there may be limited attendance based on whichever city that they're in. And of course, this is where all the vaccine talks are going to come in too. Right now, the numbers, and I'm just speaking for locally here, the numbers are awful. They have been absolutely skyrocketing, which, depending on where you are, it may very well be skyrocketing where you are as well. And so I know Manitoba's gone into a lockdown. There's been talks of lockdowns here and there. There hasn't been one in BC because most of where the spread's been occurring has been in situations where it may very well be outside of the guidelines anyways. So it's, it's just, basically the lockdown wouldn't help. So with all of this going on and teams wanting to start in their home rinks, it means that we may see things get pushed back. We may see things get pushed back because there may be situations where teams say, all right, we want to open training camp December 15th, and local municipalities say no. Health officials say no. We're not having that right now. So there's still a lot to be ironed out. And yet the NHL knows they need to get this ball rolling because they want to get 2021, 2022 going at the right time. They're worried about the 2022 Olympics and that stoppage that's going to occur during that season, because the plan is to go to the Olympics that year. And again, that's likely on. From what we're hearing now, from everything that's going on, it sounds like, as we go into 2021 and vaccinations are possible, that we can have some semblance of a more normal existence going forward. And so the NHL is likely looking at that news and saying, okay, that's good news. So for 2021, 2022, we should be looking at a normal season with full attendance. So there are some issues with this, of course, for this season, which is we'll go to the Canadian division for 1 year. And Elliot Friedman talked about this yesterday, and it'll be interesting to see if this happens. Rumors that the NHL may have a 2-week period between the end of the season, the regular season, and the playoffs. And that they see that they have to get this season started as soon as possible. That in talks with Major League Baseball and the National Football League, the NHL has been told the sooner you can get the ball rolling, the sooner you can get back on the ice and get this going, the more leeway you have for when outbreaks happen. And they're going to happen. And we're going to see games get moved and delayed and canceled. And so having a 2-week period where you can throw games in that were earlier delayed in the season makes a lot of sense. So having that blank space in between, and then best case scenario, you don't need those 2 weeks in between, and you just move up the playoffs those 2 weeks to fill that time, and then you're finishing your playoffs 2 weeks earlier. July 15th is seen as the date that they have to award the cup by, and that seems to be the plan. But again, it depends on what's going to happen with this season. Now, the models that they have right now are the idea of, okay, if we can have an 82 game schedule, it'd be great. But they have models for a 62, 60, 56, and 48 game season. And 48 is seen as the absolute lowest that they can go in terms of games for a regular season. So this is where they're at. And again, it's still in that nebulous form, and we'd love to have some sort of certainty. We don't have that right now. And again, the lockdowns may push the season back to, and they're saying it may be February 1st. So they're kind of having this discussion of, so what's the plan? January 1st or February 1st? And there's no discussions of, well, let's just not bother having a season. It's, we'll have a season. If we can have it in the home rinks, then as soon as there's some kind of an allowance for fans in attendance, and in some locations there will be anyways. But as soon as there's some kind of idea for how fan attendance is going to work, and you start to ramp that up, then you start making more money. I know there's concern south of the border too that everything's going to get shut down. There's going to be a huge shutdown. Federally, the government doesn't have that kind of power. It's state by state that has that kind of power, and then the federal government helps to coordinate that with state governors. So there isn't really a situation where the entire country just gets closed. And I can't see that working either. So we'll see how this goes. They're going to continue to navigate this situation, and they're trying to amp up excitement through jerseys. So you'll notice I'm wearing the Liberty jersey. There's a reason why. I've seen Rangers fans saying they're not going to bring back the Liberty jersey. It's not going to happen. But in the teaser that they had for the Metro jerseys today, they showed the shoulder patch, and it was this logo that's on the shoulder, and it's a blue jersey. So if it's not a Lady Liberty jersey, I'm not sure what they're doing other than setting people up for mild disappointment. I say mild because I know there's some fans that aren't big fans of the Lady Liberty jersey. I love it. I think it's fantastic, personally. I think it's great. But yeah, so the fourth jerseys have been teased for both the Pacific and for the Metro, and there's some fantastic looking jerseys. And yes, I'm already having discussions with Ben on which ones I want and what we're going to do and all of that wonderful stuff. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Michael Haley, remember him? Played a handful of games for the Rangers this year. I think it was 22 games for the Rangers this past season. Signs a 1-year, 2-way contract with the Senators. It'll pay him $700,000 at the NHL level, $200,000 at the AHL level. This is picking up just a little bit of toughness in case they need it. Similar role to what Sabourin had for them last year. So we'll see how this goes for the Sens this year. But it's a really a risk-free pickup, because if they do send him down to the AHL, he will clear waivers. Haley's not going to be picked up on waivers, not this season. So yeah, good move by them. If you're wondering about the Ovechkin talks, apparently don't, because there won't be any more talks between Ovechkin and the Capitals, according to GM McClellan, until training camp, which, as I mentioned earlier, we're not sure when training camp's going to be. It might be middle of December. That's what they're aiming for. Players are showing up for that, but we're still not sure. It's still a moving target. Lucas Raymond, if you're a Wings fan, good news for you guys. He's on a 4-game point streak currently with Frölunda of the SHL. 5 goals, 5 assists in 15 games so far. I think he's NHL ready, and so this is good news. Keep in mind that for fans, I've seen people saying, well, these guys that are in the SHL, they're under contract till the end of the year. Right. But the NHL season doesn't begin until later anyways, so the SHL season will be over first. So even if they're under contract in the SHL, once that season's over, they're free to come over and play in the National Hockey League. And I think Raymond will probably get a few games with Detroit just to see how he's doing after that season's done. Again, depending on scheduling and depending on the plans of Steve Yzerman. But we all believe in Yzerman right now. Right? It's not that long ago everybody believed in Brendan Shanahan, and now it seems like there are some that are just, peeling off of that one and going, nah, we're not with the Shanahan plan like we were. I don't envy GMs in the National Hockey League. I've said it before, I'll say it again, that I don't. But keep your eyes open for all the teasers of the various divisions. Like I said, they've teased the Pacific, they've teased the Metro, and so far the predictions look like they're going to end up to be pretty close when it comes to the reverse retros. The Vancouver Canucks, man, if they do that gradient they had, but in green and blue instead of in maroon and navy, that's going to be absolutely fantastic. That may very well end up being my favorite jersey ever. That's going to be up there, but we'll see what they come out with. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. And hey, thank you guys so much for all your support all the way through. We're done another week, and we're still waiting on news on exactly what the plan is, but we're getting close. I would think next week we'll hear what the plan is, unless they decide to push back that decision with lockdowns. But if we don't get an announcement and the lockdowns are pushing the announcement back, that means January 1st becomes less and less likely. All right. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.